Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract wealth like gravity, while others hustle endlessly and still stay broke? I used to think it was about luck, or maybe the right connections. But the truth, it was about how they think. Not just what they do, but the invisible habits of the mind that shape every decision, every move, every outcome. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Let me take you back. A few years ago, I was sitting in a small cafe, flat broke, sipping the cheapest black coffee they had. Across from me sat a man who had made his first million by 30. He didn't look flashy, no gold watch, no designer shoes, but he carried something different, a calm, a certainty, a way of seeing the world that felt magnetic. I asked him, "What do you do every day that makes the difference?" He smiled and said, "It's not what I do once in a while, it's what I think and practice every day. It's not about working harder, it's about thinking sharper." Since then, I've spent years studying people like him, millionaires, self-made ones, quiet ones, visionary ones. And over again, I found these same 8 mental habits. Small, powerful mindset shifts you can start today. Not tomorrow, not next year, right now. Habit 1, they take full responsibility. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. No one is coming to save you. Not your boss, not the government, not some magical opportunity falling from the sky. Millionaires understand this at their core. They don't wait for someone else to fix their life. They don't point fingers at the economy or their childhood or their lack of resources. They don't say, "I can't," because they say, "How can I?" I remember a moment when I lost a job I thought was secure. I was angry. I blamed everything, the system, the leadership, even timing. But after the storm passed, I sat with myself and asked, what part of this do I own? That single question changed everything. Because the moment you take ownership, full radical responsibility, you take back your power. You stop being a victim and start becoming the author. Every millionaire I've met has this in common. They take responsibility even when it's not their fault, because it gives them control. They fail, they learn, they win, they reflect. They don't outsource their growth to luck or circumstances. And that's what makes them unstoppable. They don't need everything to be perfect. They just need to know that they are in charge of how they respond, how they rise, and how they move forward. Responsibility isn't about being flawless. It's about choosing to rise every time you fall. It's not glamorous. It's not easy, but it's freeing. And it's the first true habit of a millionaire mindset. Habit 2, they think in decades, not days. You see, most people want the win now. They chase the quick dopamine hit, the instant gratification of a fast deal, a viral post, a get-rich-quick scheme. But millionaires, they're architects, not gamblers. They play the long game. I remember speaking to a self-made entrepreneur who told me, "I don't build for next week. I build for my grandchildren." That hit me, because when you start thinking in decades, your vision expands. You stop reacting and start designing. You stop asking, what feels good today? And start asking, what builds real value over time? Every shortcut suddenly feels small. Every distraction loses power. You stop trading your future for temporary highs. That's the real shift. Because when you stretch your timeline, your decisions change. You become patient, but not passive. Focused, but not frantic. You start creating things that outlive you. You think like a farmer, not a hunter. You plant seeds. You water them. You trust the process. And in a world obsessed with speed, your slowness becomes a superpower. That's how legacies are built, not in sprints, but in seasons. Millionaires aren't just rich. They're timeless. And it all begins with how far ahead they think. Habit 3, they learn relentlessly. Millionaires are obsessed with growth, not for show, but for survival. They treat learning not as a luxury, but as oxygen. Every book, every podcast, every conversation with someone smarter, it's all fuel. I remember meeting a man worth over $50 million. You'd think he had it all figured out, but he carried a notebook everywhere, scribbling ideas, taking notes, asking questions like a beginner. That's the mindset. They don't learn almost to impress others. They learn to transform themselves. They read like their life depends on it. They fail forward and mine every mistake for gold. They pay for coaching. They invest in masterminds. They go to events where they feel uncomfortable on purpose because they know that your income rarely exceeds your mindset. Your bank account rises to the level of your belief, your skill, your vision. So ask yourself, when was the last time you learned something that scared you a little? Something that stretched your thinking? That edge, that discomfort? That's where your next breakthrough lives. Millionaires live on that edge, not because it's safe, but because it's where growth happens. They stay students forever, and that's why they never stop rising. Habit 4, they protect their energy like it's gold, because it truly is. Your energy is not infinite. It's your most precious currency. Millionaires understand that every moment spent on drama, distractions, gossip, or meaningless arguments is money leaking out of their future. They're not rude. They're ruthless with their focus. They say no to the meeting that doesn't matter. They say no to the friend who drains them. They say no to anything that doesn't serve the bigger vision. I once heard a millionaire say, "I treat my energy like a millionaire treats his bank account. Protect it, grow it, and never waste it." That hit me, because energy is the foundation of execution. You can have the best idea, the perfect plan, the smartest team, but if your energy is scattered, none of it works. That's why the rich don't just manage time. They master attention. They unplug when needed. They rest without guilt. They walk away from chaos like it's contagious. Because it is. They know exactly who and what deserves their bandwidth. Where focus goes, fortune flows. And if you want to rise, you need to start treating your energy like gold, because it's the force that fuels everything. Habit 5. They act before they're ready. Millionaires don't sit around waiting for the stars to align. They don't wait until the website is perfect, the pitch is flawless, or the timing feels just right. They move, they launch, they leap. Not because they're fearless, but because they've learned that waiting is more dangerous than failing. I once asked a founder of a 9-figure company how he got started, and he said, "Badly. I just started." That's it. No magic, no secret, just movement. Millionaires know that action creates clarity. You can spend weeks planning, but one real step forward teaches you more than 100 ideas on paper. They fail, yes, but they fail forward. They collect lessons, not regrets. They understand that you can't think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. Every person I've met who created something great had one thing in common: a bias for action. Not reckless action, not impulsiveness, but relentless motion. They show up even when they feel unprepared. They say yes, then figure it out. They trust the process more than their fear. And because of that, doors open. Momentum builds. Opportunities find them. Not because they waited, but because they moved. Habit 6, they multiply value, not just income. This is the shift that separates the wealthy from the merely busy. While most people are trapped in the question, "How can I make more money?" millionaires ask a completely different question. How can I create so much value that people want to give me their money? That change in focus is everything, because when you stop chasing income and start creating impact, the game transforms. I once met a woman who built a 7-figure business helping stressed out moms get organized. Not glamorous, not loud, but deeply valuable. She didn't wake up thinking about sales. She woke up thinking, who can I serve today? And because of that, sales followed her. Millionaires think in systems, not sprints. They design offers, services, products that solve real pain points. Then they automate, delegate, and scale. They look for leverage. How can I do it once and have it work 1,000 times? It's not about grinding harder, it's about designing smarter. They build machines, not treadmills. That's how they free their time, expand their impact, and multiply their wealth. By multiplying value, not noise, not effort, but value that lasts, that spreads, that earns while they sleep. And that mindset, the mindset of service, strategy, and scale, that's what sets them apart. Habit 7, they visualize, then strategize. Before a single dollar is made, before the product exists, before anyone else believes. Millionaires have already seen it, not in the world, but in their mind. They walk through their vision like it's real. The numbers, the lifestyle, the people they serve, the impact they create. It's not wishful thinking, it's mental rehearsal. They use vision as fuel, not fantasy. I once met a founder who every morning before opening his laptop would close his eyes for 10 minutes and live his future in his mind. Not to escape, but to align. Then, and only then, he would strategize, step by step, from end to beginning. Millionaires don't just dream, they reverse engineer their goals. They ask, what would need to be true for this to happen? And then they build it. Their plans aren't random. They're intentional, measurable. Vision gives them clarity, and clarity gives them courage. Because when you've already walked the path in your mind, it's easier to walk it in real life. Most people live by default. Millionaires live by design, and it all begins with what they see before the world does. Habit 8, they surround themselves with growth. You've heard the quote, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, millionaires don't just know this, they live it. They curate their circle like their life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. They outgrow comfort zones and casual friendships. Not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. They want to be in rooms that challenge them, conversations that stretch them, environments that demand their highest self. I once met a woman who left a business mastermind because she had become the most successful person in the group. She said, if I'm the smartest one in the room, I'm in the wrong room. That's the level of self-honesty millionaires carry. They seek mentors, not cheerleaders. Accountability, not approval. Because they understand that mindset is contagious. The hunger, the clarity, the standards. It rubs off. So they surround themselves with people who think bigger, dream bolder, act sharper. People who make their goals feel normal. Because when everyone around you is growing, you don't shrink. You rise. And that's the final piece of the millionaire mindset. They don't grow alone. They grow in tribes, in circles that reflect the future, not the past. Start where you are, not where you wish you were, not where someone else is. Just here, right now. Choose one habit. Practice it daily. Let it reshape the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act. And then add another and another. Because wealth doesn't arrive in a single breakthrough. It arrives quietly through patterns, through discipline, through mindset. It shows up in the decisions you make when no one's watching, in the consistency you build when the results haven't shown yet. True wealth isn't just about your bank account. It's about the calm in your spirit, the strength in your choices, the momentum of your habits. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. You already have what it takes. It's time to stop chasing wealth and start thinking like someone who naturally creates it, not with desperation, but with clarity, with conviction. You're already that person. You just have to start living like it. Let today be the first day of that decision.